And hello again, everyone. Welcome back to BowlTV's continuing coverage of the PBA50 Tour and the PBA50 World Series of Bowling number 3. With Craig Elliott and Tom Carter, I'm Dave Lamont, Brian Kane on the controls. Thank you very, very much, and welcome to the Stepladder of the Ballard Championship. 36 feet of fun, as Craig called it earlier today. It was fun for at least these 5 guys because we have our top 5, and it is a left-handed dominated show, Tom. No more squealing from the left side about how badly they're treated. Here they are, owning 80% of the stepladder.
Oh, they're going to have their chance, and that's led by Hall of Famer Jason Couch. Got to win at the first event last year at Vision Lanes. Here we are, the first event of the World Series, looking for his second title in 2 years, leading this pack.
And he did very well on this pattern last year. Tom, you talked about the evolution of this pattern. You and I were talking yesterday about where we were a couple of years ago to make a cut on this pattern as opposed to where we are now.
Well, the pattern normally is rather tough, I think. The last time I bowled on it, it was obviously a couple of years ago, it was plus 30. This year is like plus 200. And the left side obviously dominated. And they say the left can't score in this building, but I think that was proven wrong on this pattern this week.
And the one right-hander we do have, Craig, is Mario Quintero, and he let us know what kind of bowler he was a year ago when we first saw him in this building.
Yeah, number 2 seed, Mario Quintero, the reigning world champion, which is the end of this event after all these other 4 legend patterns are complete. So he's got some good history and some good vibes in this building, and he is the number 2 seed looking to bowl for the title against Jason Couch.
Tom, our top 2 players have PBA 50 titles. The 3, 4, and 5 seeds are players we have seen before. Well, actually not Brian Hoffman. This is Brian's first cut that he's made through the PBA 50. But it's going to be interesting to see how they manage the nerves.
Well, Anthony Cruz also, he normally comes out of the gates like a house of fire, but it seems like nerves gets him. Michael Harter has been on the show before, but Hoffman, honestly, I've never seen before. I know that Hoffman and Harter bowl the military tournament in Vegas, and they've won it the last 8 out of 10 years. So I think it's going to be a good show. The great right hope is Mario Quintero, and we'll see how he plays it out.
Yeah, we had number 1 seed was Chris Barnes, but he was defeated by Michael Harter in 5 games. Jason Couch was able to overrun his opponents. Couch hasn't lost a game yet today. He's 6-0, and all he has to do is bowl 1 more and add 1 more title to his Hall of Fame resume. It looks like practice is just about wrapped up, so let us go to the lane. And Tournament Director Tony Lanning introducing to our crowd here at Jack's 60 in Jackson, Michigan, where we are again.
I did get a little insight, learned a little bit about Anthony Cruz, and I don't know how we've missed this over the last 2 seasons. He works at Kegel.
Yeah, he works at Kegel.
Yeah, he's one of JJ's buddies, so
it was kind of fun.
Never knew that.
That's why JJ is here.
When Chris Keene had the first string pin tournament down at his place, Lehigh Lanes, they had a problem with the machine, and Anthony was there, and he goes, well, I think I can fix it.
Well, go right ahead. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that explains why JJ is at the right over by our table.
Well, that's how I found out. JJ said, "I said, what are you doing here?" Well, I'm here to watch my buddy. I'm thinking, who? Anthony. Okay. Be some good insight, I'm sure. Some teachings that JJ can pass on.
And a great start for Cruz. He has a regional title. This is his first stepladder. Michael Harter, this is his second stepladder, and he also has a regional title.
Anthony Cruz reminds me of a shorter version of Dave Davis. I mean, he's just really smooth, got that long swing, straight arm swing. Just kind of opposite of Michael Harter, who really just grabs a handful of it.
Like that.
I noticed with Cruz, we saw him last year for the first time, Tom, is that, he's got some game, right? And he just needs some experience and some confidence.
Yeah, he's just got to get his nerves under control, I think, because when he comes out, like he bowled right next to me, it was smooth to watch. I mean, he's fun to watch, but I think when it gets close, the nerves gets to him, and then he has a little bit of an issue. He gets over that, I see a title in his future.
Yeah, I think no question about that, and that's something we've had the conversation about over the last 2 seasons. And this, today is his chance. He's in his stepladder.
I would be remiss, and I don't want to forget this. Very important. The man whom this pattern is named after is watching. So we want to send our love to Del Ballard, who is watching right now. Just popped up in the chat, but an inside source tipped me off that Del would be watching. And you see, sorry can't make it this year. Hopes to be here next year.
Well, I would really like to see Del bowl on this pattern because For the right side was good. Don't get us wrong. I mean, there was a lot of good right-handers, and the scores were good. But the left side, obviously, you're going to see a lot of black balls going down the lane, a lot of urethane with anywhere from 240 to 360 on them. The right side didn't quite have that look with the urethane, except for you're going to see Mario throw it, but he's a different animal in himself.
Well, Mario's got the whole right side himself, and I think right now that's a big advantage. Because what we saw in that round of 8 with all the play on the left side is those lanes got a little squirrely in some of those matches, and they got tough.
Because in qualifying, we move every pair, and they, for the most part, they were on fresh every time they moved,
Right.
and they whacked the fresh.
Yeah, but not going to be so tonight with 4 of them. And I think, I actually saw Harter warming up with a little bit of reactive, which it's pretty rare to see that in his hand.
Well, I watched him throw one shot against Parker. He picked up a different ball, and it went runaway Brooklyn, and he actually tripped the 4-2-1 back at him.
Oh, yeah, we saw that shot, yeah.
Oh, that was insane. Yeah, that's
He carried.
that didn't. Just a little bit high for Cruz.
The biggest thing, they've got room left. I mean, they can throw it left, and it kind of ricochets off of the gutter.
Well, on the fresh, but
On the
not
fresh.
later they do.
You're right.
Yeah.
But right now, he's got room left, and he needs to take advantage of it. Because Harter definitely is going to be throwing it to the left.
Much like we had in Columbus at the PBA50 World Series of Bowling last week. It was one day of qualifying, 8 games. That's all you got. It was an 8-game sprint, and then we only took 16, so a harsh cut. So to get to any, that one just sailed on him.
And that's just nerves, right, Tom? I mean,
Yes.
it's just.
He made a comment to me earlier. He goes, I got through these 8 games of qualifying. For once in my life, I picked up all my spares. I had 4 unmakeables, but I picked up all my spares. But today in match play, he's had a little bit of a spare issue.
He has. He's missed a handful of single pins today. And there's the first one here in this opening match. And Mike Harter, he knows, you know what, you got to jump on that opportunity.
And he did.
One thing Harter doesn't do is miss it at the bottom. If you watch his arm swing, he is so cupped up in the back, and he just right there.
Good
he's
look
cupped,
right there, yep.
And he stays basically cupped and never relaxes his wrist. So he's catching everything he can.
Well, one thing that we picked up on, though, and it was in Game 4 when he went to reactive and the 7-4-2-1 fell forward. Towards the end of that game and the start of Game 5 against Parker, he got a little tentative. Frame 5, he finally just went back to what he does and wheeled on it and hit it, and that was it. Like a flipped a switch. He got a little cautious, and it cost him. And then when he stays aggressive, that's when he's dangerous.
The biggest thing, since he actually shapes the ball, unlike Anthony Cruz. Cruz is more kind of a stylist. He's really down, and the ball just rolls up. For Mike, when he gets amped, he adds a little bit more speed, and if he does that, that ball might not read. He just gets it down the lane.
But then if he overhits it, it hooks off his hand. So he's got to be very precise.
Harter was the number 16 qualifier, and he bowled a 217 to get in on the last game. Beat Michael Haggett by 8 pins. And then again, outlasted Chris Barnes, and then defeated Parker Bone III. So he's taken on 2 Hall of Famers and beaten them in 5-game matches. So he is quite battle-tested today.
And if he wants to win his first title today, which he does, he's going to have to beat 3 Hall of Famers and the reigning world champ.
Yep.
That's all.
Yeah, it's not like it's a small ladder to climb.
No.
Yeah, the guy at the top's pretty good.
Anthony Cruz qualified in the number 6 position. And that looks like a bucket. Yeah, it is. He steps away. And he very, very steady. He opened 277 in qualifying yesterday. Also tossed in a 256. And his lowest game was only a 199. So he avoided any disasters in qualifying. His opponents were Randy Weiss, the PBA50 Rookie of the Year from last year. Defeated him 3-1. And then was beaten by Brian Hoffman. But with all of the craziness involving the seeds in this format, the highest seeded player defeated in the round of 6 was Anthony Cruz. And he leaves an open frame.
Unfortunately, he's just kind of handing this match right to Michael Harter. He's got to pick up those spares, and that's one thing that you would think, since he is so stylish, meticulous about his approach, that he would be a great spare shooter, because it's not like he straps on the ball and he's covering every board in the building. And normally guys our age group are normally better spare shooters. Don't you say anything either.
Were you talking to both of us? I assume?
He was. Yeah. He pointed at me, but he was talking to us.
Hold on, Jim Callahan's calling.
Yeah. And we don't want to talk about last week, so that's over.
Hey, you know what? I seem to recall you making cuts last week, and a lot of guys didn't. So we can talk about last week. And you kicked Wayne's butt, so that's the only thing that really matters.
That was worth the whole day.
Darn right. Sorry, Wayne. Not sorry.
That one bounced a little bit. Didn't matter.
Bounced into the pocket.
He's getting it out to 3-4. He's letting it coast, and that's what he does. And I honestly, of all the tournaments that Mike's been in the last, 2 years, maybe 2.5, there might have been one tournament he didn't throw that black urethane ball.
Oh, yeah.
For the most part, he's throwing urethane all the time.
Oh, yeah, it's very rare to see him throwing something that's not urethane. Very, very rare.
It doesn't matter the length of the pattern.
But I'll tell you what, if he gets to the finals, he might have to get interactive. I really feel strongly about that.
No, you got another lefty waiting in Brian Hoffman. Before you get to the only right-hander, this Mario Quintero, and at the top of the charts is Jason Couch.
And Brian Hoffman actually kind of hooks the ball. So those two, are, if Michael wins this, are going to be crossing each other's line.
Take another look at this. Mike, as you might have guessed, out of Henderson, Nevada, which is basically a suburb of Las Vegas.
Your boy almost made the show, Mr. Verbiage.
He came close, but he ran into that transition, right?
Yeah.
Because he's a guy that he had to get out of that. He was throwing that Runner Pro, right? And
Yeah.
he had to get out of it and get into urethane, and he had nothing with that.
Yeah, and he
No
just
matter
sort of
what.
ran out of the strikes that he threw against Tom Adcock when he threw over 1,000 for 4 games. And in the Open, he had Parker throwing 993 and defeating Tom Doherty. Tom Parker throwing against Doherty,
Well, Verbiage's ball, you could hurt it at the other end of the building when he hit the pins.
It was fun. And poor Tom Adcock didn't bowl badly at all.
No.
I think he had one game early that was a little shaky, but once he figured out what was working for him, he worked well and probably would have beaten other people in that first round.
The first game matches were basically 270, 260, 250, 240. I mean, they were all high-scoring matches.
Yeah. Yeah, if you couldn't get to 240, you had a hard time keeping up. There you go, Anthony Cruz.
He needs to throw it just like that all the time. Easier said than done, but that's what he's got to do.
Short arm swing.
And that's about as classic of a style as you can get, right? Just basic 4 steps, nice and simple. No, nothing flashy, but repetitive.
Yeah. Least amount of moving parts is easy to reproduce, right? At least it should be.
No, he's got a 3-bagger going, so Harter not ready to run and hide just yet. However,
I think if these heads were like some places that we bowled that bounced, Harter would have a problem because he is really coming out of that ball into the lane.
Yeah, if he'd have bowled on 19 and 20 at Samstown, remember that pair? Yeah, that had a little bounce in that pair.
this is a 36-foot pattern. This will be the shortest of our 5 legend patterns. And
we got everybody's favorite pattern qualifying tomorrow.
Well, everybody's favorite except Leto.
No, the jinx is broken.
Maybe. Not in
Jinx
this
is
building.
broken. He
Not in
made the
this
show
building.
on his pattern, though, in Columbus. You're right. No, Craig, you're right. There is, he's going to have to prove it to us, to us like we matter. And look out, mama.
That was right and more right.
Well, and I think, Craig, you can attest to that. When you use that much muscle, it is really easy to overcompensate and yank one and get it high. Or go Brooklyn. You got to let it go. It just amazes me how much surface these guys were using. And we had to go out in the truck and get new 240s and 360s. And actually, Brian Link, we call it the Walter pad, the one that I made for Walter. It's 80 grit.
Mm-hmm.
And he was using it, to try to get the ball to slow down.
Well, with that spare from Harter, that brings the possibility of a tie. 246 max scores for both players here. Anthony Cruz get up and double, and he cannot be shut out.
That little half pocket light switcher seems to work pretty good. He wasn't quite as solid at the line on that shot as he normally is. And that's, you know, you can't get away from what got you here, which is being smooth and repetitive. And I know you want it, and a lot of times you think you got to put more on it, and you jump out of your shoes to try to do it.
Yeah, oh, he was into
There you
that
go.
shot. Yep.
Speaking of jumping out of your shoes, Craig's got USBCs coming up, and I would love to be there to watch to see if he can get it under 16 mile an hour to let the ball shape.
Under 16, no chance.
I can get it under 16 miles an hour.
I'm lucky to get under 19. One thing I'm noticing, those both players are doing a really good job of controlling the pace, right? Because, Thomas, you know, the first time you make a show or one of the first couple times, it goes fast.
Oh.
And you know, and maybe that early for Cruz, that's what it was. It's just too quick. Slow things down, take your time, go through the process like you guys talk all the time, and don't let it get ahead of you.
Before you know it, you're in the 10th frame, and it went by so fast. And the biggest thing is when it starts going fast, the blood pressure goes up, you kind of start sweating, you panic a little bit, you breathe in harder, you know, and time just flies because you're thinking that you have no time to make that adjustment. You got to slow things down.
Yeah, the good thing about a situation like this is Tony Lanning, our tournament director, he'll tell you if you're going too slow.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
You know what? Just wait for the warning. I mean, really, right? Just let him tell you to go faster.
Yeah, that's a good point. Put the burden on him and make him the bad guy, so to speak.
Dr. Dean Hennitz said it best to us. Like, when things start going wrong or you're speeding up, look for something red, and red means stop. Stop doing what you're doing. Start over, slow down, and regroup.
So red shoelaces might be a good idea on your bowling shoes.
That's not a bad idea.
I got lots of them. He hates that shot as well.
Yeah, be careful. He
That's
struck
why.
like that. Remember the shot that struck the Bizarro 4-2-1 countdown strike? This is another one that he hates. Watch his reaction, but watch the pin.
That was right. He never got that left at all. He knew it was going Brooklyn, and you can't even call that high flush. It was It was headed.
235 is still on the table for him, though. .246 for Cruz if he can take it off the sheet. Harter just trying to make the 10th frame uncomfortable for Anthony. And the almost expected overcompensation.
Right. He wheeled that clear the gutter and didn't catch all of it, which is absolutely amazing. And the ball didn't turn on the back end. But still, since this is Anthony's first telecast, you mentioned that the nerves. I guarantee you, even though he needs a mark, his stomach's going nuts.
Well, Harter spares this. It forces Cruz to strike to win.
Well, Anthony's been in tough positions in his career. I've just discovered, picked up a South Regional title, not far from where he's located, Sebring, Florida, the PBA50 Harris Cherokee Ultrastar Multitainment Center Open in Cherokee, North Carolina. He ought to beat John Murkowski for the title.
That guy's not easy.
No, and listen what they had to do. 8 qualifying games, 4 advanced round, 12 games in round-robin match play. So he earned that one.
So strike to win, 9 spare, a minimum 9 spare strike is a tie. Got to have at least 9. Oh, that
about
was
10?
That was the best shot of the game right there.
Yeah.
That was the best shot of the game.
All right, so on he goes. And it's going to be another lefty-lefty matchup. So Anthony Cruz's first Stepladder appearance, he's got a W.
Great follow-through.
You don't see many follow-throughs that long and straight. It's almost like he took a lesson from either Johnny Petraglia or Dave Davis.
I mean, I've been a Cruz fan since the first time we saw him last year. He's got a nice, solid game. Just a matter of putting it together, get some confidence, and maybe this first win that gets you that confidence here in the opening stepladder match.
Well, you've got another newbie to run into in Brian Hoffman, and we'll get to his story in just a little bit as Anthony just takes care of business on this. So he gets away with missing 2. He has not converted a spare.
No, it's all well.
Yeah, and
wait a minute.
Right, except for what he's going to make this one and make us look bad. But going into, but that spare was after the fact. He got away with that little stretch in the 3rd and 4th where we're talking about, man, you better start making your spares. His attitude was, well, maybe if I just throw 6 in a row, spares will not be relevant.
Well,
Harter has a clean 225. So
well, it just goes to show you what's more important in bowling: strikes or spares.
Spares.
winning.
Spares. Yeah.
And what's everybody doing? Sanding them to try to make them more like the softer ones.
More like the soft ones, right.
They get them to react.
All right, Brian, you're being introduced to the crowd here.
And he's on cloud 9. He's just enjoying this moment.
Well,
Happy as can be.
He's close friends with Phil Cardinelli too.
he wants to start the match.
And he would have a Radical shirt on, but those are one of the brands that you can't wear now.
Yeah, Brian bowls a ton of stuff around Texas and San Antonio especially. Bowls at Astro Bowl, where Phil bowls. There's a big league that bowls on Thursdays, but Brian bowls a couple times a week down there. And every weekend that we can. Oh.
One more?
Oh.
No.
He's kind of got the same Michael Harter cupped up backswing.
But he kind of spins it just a touch more. Not a lot, but you're right. His release, he kind of gets over top and gets it through the front where it's not going to overreact, I think, is bad.
Right, but and the ball, I think, makes a bigger motion on the back end,
Right.
too.
Retains a little more energy.
Looks like Brian must have spent some time in Wisconsin at some point. I'm going back and looking at some Madison area bowling association.
He was in the military, so I think it was the Air Force. I'm not sure.
It talks about a little bit about that, but I found an Instagram post that mentions he rolled a 300 789 series at Astro Bowl. That's his 4th 300 in 2 weeks, says the story here.
Well, I believe that.
Yeah, so.
So that style right there, and he started out every game with that style, that super smooth style.
Mm-hmm.
And as the game progressed, it got a little herkier and jerkier because he was trying to force the ball to the pocket. You watch this, and that's the classic style. He just goes right through it. He posts it.
I like the Dave Davis comparison.
Yeah,
I think he's not as tall as Dave.
Right.
was.
I said he's a short version.
That's not because that really posts at the end.
Right.
As Dave did. Yeah, that's. I remember you saying that earlier, and it's kind of sinking in now, at least in my case. And a little mix action.
Another half pocket hit.
I think that's a good way to line up, though, because your misses, especially like we saw with Harter, his misses are right of target. So if you line up light pocket and you pull one a little bit, you're dead flush.
Right.
And on this short Ballard pattern, you have room left because it's going to hook.
Going to hook? That's kind of an understatement.
7-pin for Hoffman.
I guess the thing is amazing. Everybody on the left side is throwing the same ball.
The Couch isn't bringing out one of his old relics from the 90s.
He was actually throwing down here in warm-ups. He had an axe. Now, an axe that he had scuffed up a little bit.
That's plastic, isn't it?
It's one step above plastic.
Okay.
And he's curving that thing like it was nobody's business. And I'm going, there's a thought.
Well, let us know if you saw the same thing. Dave and I have talked. Jason's demeanor this week has been way different than years past. I mean, he's always joking around, but this week he's not quite as much.
No,
Right? He's very
seems
serious.
to be way serious.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree with that.
Hang in there. That's kind of the line you have to use on this pattern on either side, that flirtation. Tom, I compare it to those, was it the Walendas that used to do the walking across the tightrope on the in-between buildings?
Yeah.
That's kind of what, we've seen from these guys, and we have had, especially on the right side, and we only have one right-handed bowler here today in this stepladder final, have actually dunked him in the gutter a bunch of times.
Well, you had, for us on the right side, you had to throw it to the right to really get a decent shape. And like I said earlier, there wasn't a lot of the guys tried to throw urethane, but it was better throwing a bigger ball, like for, let's say, James Kraft, who I crossed with, came out of the gates. He was up there in the top 5 for a while, and he was throwing like a mesmerized, a big ASIM ball, and just a lot of forward roll because the urethane just wasn't getting it on our side. But, to me, all the right-handers try to play it different, where all the lefties seem to migrate to one area. And
Yeah. Mario Quintero, as a matter of fact, had a gutter ball today and survived it. Ended up winning that game.
Yeah, he luckily survived that on a double, and it cost him 30 pins.
Yeah,
And still
he
made it way too closer than what it should have been.
Dunked it on a double. But to his eternal credit, came right back with a smooth shot and got a spare out of it.
Better follow through than the last shot. Stays on line.
Another
Plays
half
extra.
pocket,
Yeah.
just head pin goes, snaps out the 10. Well, I've said this story, and I keep saying it's the U.S. Open. It might not be, but when Chris Warren, on the way to the show, had thrown through qualifying 21 gutter balls and still made it.
Wow.
So obviously the shot was on the gutter, and you can't be scared of it.
No, I don't see Chris being scared of that, of anything in bowling.
Brian's feet are really fast.
They are. Yeah, he needs to just take a breath.
Yeah, because it's like he hasn't really posted a shot. He's kind of like, I'm running and throwing.
Well, his shoulders look like they're a little high. He's just like a little tense maybe. Just, somebody needs to tell him, hey.
Slow down
yeah.
because you're already in the 4th frame. This game's almost halfway over.
Well, it's, the one of the sentiments I've learned over the years being on television in this seat is that guys who haven't done it before always have the same sentiment in their first game, win or lose. God, that was fast. It was over so quickly.
Yes.
And
and
like that shot,
He's not taking any time whatsoever.
He did slow down just a bit there, and he turned towards somebody. I don't know who.
Well, he had a little deadwood kind of hanging out back there for a second. It fell.
And it, which has happened a couple times here, almost like a ghost pin. And, he might have rushed that once he got there, but that is such a common sentiment. He might be going through that kind of thing right now. And he would not be the first, and he is in some serious trouble.
Well, the example I always use in that Russian, remember what's the Northern California, Brentwood?
Brentwood.
Remember when Noel Vasquez beat Pete?
Yep.
That title match took 9 minutes. It was unbelievable. Noel bowled so fast, and I'm trying to cut the show, and I can't even keep up. It's like, Noel and I were rooming together. We get done, and I said, do you remember any of that? He said, nope, not a bit. I mean, it was like a track meet.
And Pete, that would have been his 6th win in a row.
6 in a row, yeah.
If he had won that show.
Yeah, he'd won 5 in a row. He took a week off, and then comes back, and he's in a title match again.
I don't know if you know anything about these black hammers, but the diff on those things, the 15-pounders, are just .015. It's very small diff, so the ball's not going to change direction. And we've had a lot of guys here lately want to go to a 16 because the diff is 030. It's double, so it hooks more.
Hooks a little more. You got to round that one.
And he's had a few light hits, but that one's going to leave him a little bit of extra work, but nothing dramatic.
And Doherty out here, as big and strong as that young guy is, throws 14.
Yeah. Well, he drew a very unlucky card in the first round. Parker's been bowling really well lately, as we all know, and but Parker couldn't get around Michael Harter.
We've seen Anthony have some struggles on single pins. Not this time.
Now, smothered there. So you're watching BowlTV, Stepladder Final, our second match in the 2025 PBA50 Ballard Championship with Dell watching from home in Texas. Hi to Carolyn and the family Dell, by the way. And coming up next will be the only right-hander in the top 5 from Mexico, and the defending world champion on this event, Mario Quintero. And then at the top, Hall of Famer Jason Couch.
Just never got that left to the friction.
This might be a test of his single pin abilities.
No doubt. But this is what we saw in the round of 8, though, with all the left-handed traffic kicking the corners. Someone is going to have to make the jump and get away from that. You know, whether it's reactive or get in, you know, Couch, we know Couch can curve the lane.
Yeah, Couch can curve it. I mean, he's not going to be scared to move right if he has to. And what's going to be amazing, Mario is going to basically be doing what Anthony Cruz is doing on the right side, just going pretty much down and in. He's not going to bank it a whole lot. He's just going to play it down around 5, 6, 7 with a whole bunch of forward on it.
So Hoffman, after a rough patch, looking for a double. Got it. Slowly but surely, he got it.
He's kind of got the old school style. He stands right and drifts left. He walks into his target. And right there, he goes left.
But he's got that follow through going, you know, to the right side of his ear there, and that's what, you know, that's what's being taught nowadays, right? Which means his arm swing is on the right plane.
Right. But if you've never done that, it feels awkward as all get out.
Oh yeah. Oh, he grabbed that one. It's all right.
He can go grab a seat with a double, too. And that's exactly what had to happen. Don't forget, Anthony Cruz had a back-to-back open frames and still survived his match. So it's not over.
Well, Cruz has a 22-pin lead in max score, but he's only struck 3 of the 6 times, and that 7-pin is starting to be a bit of a pest.
And in the chat, Dell offering his thanks to Commissioner Tom Clark for naming a pattern after him.
Wait, so this wasn't named after Matt Ballard that bowled?
No.
kidding.
I probably should have warned you ahead of time that it was named after Dell.
That would have been nice to.
Yeah. Actually, they named it after Carolyn.
Understandable.
So here's where Anthony, I think, feels the pressure every match. Right here in the 6th frame. That ball never even tried to recover. It's kind of like he just go and never hit it. It just kind of sailed on. And he stood at the foul line like, I can't believe it didn't hook. Not the easiest spare in the world to pick up.
No problem. So I think he looks settled in. He may not be throwing his best shots, but he looks settled in. I think that any shock he might have had about this whole thing is worn off.
So here another guy that works for Kegel. You think he'd know how the surface of the lane and the type of oil, how it should kind of break down and what to expect.
Same shot. That's 3 times we've seen that, basically same result.
All right, so guys, he's not striking.
No, he's got to move. For him, he's got to.
Is it equipment or a physical adjustment?
I think he could go left. There's room for him to go left with his feet.
Yeah, I think he tried cheating it in after those flat 7s and the ball doesn't hook. You got to use those dry boards.
Yeah,
got to use the dry boards, and they're out there. But he's got to flirt with the gutter.
And I don't know because I've never asked him. He might be one of those players that he thinks he's on the gutter and he's not there yet. Because
another tricky one here. Yep. You know, he. What's the one about sticking your face in the fire or the finger of putting your head in the lion's mouth too often? And Anthony Cruz now Hoffman, of course, has to take this gift.
I like the fact that he re-racked here, though. Hoffman.
And we had been talking about
Slow down.
like he was on the
yeah,
bicycle.
because right now you think he's got to be a little excited inside. He's got an opening.
Oh yeah, little excited.
I want to get up and grab the ball and go.
That's a great move right here. Yeah, he has advantage.
Oh,
14-pin lead, max score.
He threw that out the window.
Oh, and he got a gigantic break.
But he used the drive
I
board.
turned my head. It fell over.
It fell. Yeah.
Yeah, watch this again because he's going to be in the way a little bit on this. But
Well, thank God for replay.
Yep.
He got it to the dry.
Yeah, but he got a good break. There's the head pin. And
He's got the 3 pins. Something rolls around.
Yeah, 6-pin doing his job.
Yeah.
Rolling 3 pins forward. Now you know you got to. It gives him a 3-bagger.
Well, I think that calms you down a little more, right?
It should.
Yeah. 2.
He's got to believe I'm in the match now.
Got the lead.
There goes the 226.
Didn't throw that one out the window.
No, that is very true.
Thomas, funny you mentioned that about thinking he plays the gutter. I know we've shared this story before, but a decade ago I was doing an event in Texas, and some young kids there bowling, Kevin Williams, Anthony Simonson, Michael Hallman, they're teenagers.
Right.
And they're listen to them, and they're scuffing up the ball. We're playing the twig. Kids ever thrown a ball right or left of 5? But to them, they thought they were the gutter. I said, no, these guys, the senior guys, we grew up playing the gutter.
Right.
The one board, the half board.
Well, you watch if Jason plays it, I mean, he'll be standing negative, and he can play up 1-2.
Yeah.
And right now,
not everybody can do that anymore.
No. I don't know if it's not taught or the patterns for some people don't think that they need to get there.
Well, it's a big chance here for Anthony Cruz, who can lock out Hoffman.
Yeah, strike here. He's up 7, going in the 10th frame.
So he's trying to curve it too much.
Nope, not going to happen. So the max scores change again.
He needs to get his feet left. A junior gold, though, you see some of those kids on the short pattern, they can play up 1-2.
Well, the young kids nowadays are different than the young kids even 5 years ago.
Right.
With the experience these kids get with junior gold, PBA junior, all these big events, they're getting a ton of experience and teaching.
All right, now the max score is just 3 pins apart, but back in favor of Brian Hoffman, 205 to 202. So this is Anthony Cruz's opportunity to throw some shade Hoffman's way.
I'd like to see Cruz take a re-rack, but he already picked the ball up, so he can't.
No, he's kind of in a hurry. Mm-hmm. Dick Weber told me a long time ago, son, there's 39 boards out there. Get used to them because you never know when you got to use them.
How old is Dick Weber if he's calling you son?
Wow.
Through the face.
Really?
A 2-7 for Anthony, and so it's going to be a little bit easier for Ryan Hoffman to secure the victory.
He's literally just kind of handing him this match.
Well, his last strike was the 4th frame after opening with a double.
Needs to make this to force Hoffman to get a mark.
Don't pick it. Nice shot.
Very nicely done.
Textbook for the left-hander on how to convert the 2-7.
Well, he needs all 10. There better not be any bucket. He needs all 10. That was a ball change.
It was.
Last shot on the fill.
Well, I tell you what, that's a veteran move because if he does win, he gets no more practice.
Right.
So it count. He just needed a handful.
And that ball
of pins
shaped
there.
up way stronger.
Yeah. Didn't make Hoffman still has to mark regardless. That count didn't mean a lot. So that was an impressive move there.
Another re-rack.
Speaking of veteran moves.
Breathe, son, breathe.
He was into that shot.
He was much slower on the pace on that slot.
Rolled that the best he's rolled it yet.
His footwork was slower. His tempo was better.
Oh, he liked it off his hand too.
Yeah, he started walking almost immediately.
He was admiring that one.
Yeah, he doesn't need much from here, folks. And he'll get it right here. So Brian Hoffman's debut in a stepladder is a W. And Anthony Cruz is going to finish 4th, and we're going to have our only, well, I shouldn't say that, our first lefty-righty matchup of the stepladder, because if Mario Quintero gets the win, he'll take on Jason Couch next. But Brian will take on 2024 world champion Mario Quintero.
And those two styles of those two lefties are so different. You got Anthony Cruz with his right arm straight out for balance, and you got Hoffman's arm that never leaves, his right arm never leaves his side for the most part.
I do a brief bit of investigative reporting. Well, Mario, plenty of international experience. We talked before about put him and his brother together. You've got a pretty tough team.
Well, they asked, I seen on the chat what happened to Troy Lint. Well, Troy Lint got eliminated by Mario Quintero.
Yep. Troy got through the first round over Todd Gell, but could not get past Quintero.
And they asked about Daniel Long, and Daniel Long got beat by our tournament leader, Jason Couch,
who has beaten 2 opponents without a loss. 2 lefties. So Jason's used to seeing some traffic on the left-hand side. So the man who was dubbed earlier today, the Great White Hope, from the right side, Mario Quintero.
And it should be a definite advantage having that lane to himself, and off to a great start.
He's on the fresh, and there's not going to be anybody crossing his line.
And there is that loft that we talked about.
I don't know. I've never seen it done. I'm sure somebody has done it. They say there's no defense in bowling, and I don't know if it's ever been done on a show, but somebody come over. I hate to say it's one of the lefties come over and throw on the right side. And,
I haven't seen the lefty do it on the right side, but I've seen it the other way.
You've seen it the other way around?
This year, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
And well, to me, I call BS because I want the guy to bowl his best game. I want to bowl mine, and whoever wins, wins. If I got to try to do something to make him bad, then you obviously know that he's better than you to begin with.
Yeah, but I think when it happened earlier this year, it wasn't as much to kind of change his shot, but just to put a thought in your mind. It was like, wait a minute, just like a re-rack, right? Just not the mind game thing, but just game. Yeah, all right, okay, mind games. Yeah, that's what it is.
It's mind games. That's where it's at. Exactly.
And that's what makes a guy like Anthony Simonson so dangerous, because you know what? He can
throw it back.
Either way, it doesn't
looks
matter.
like a lefty throw.
Yeah, he's won with it.
Yeah.
And Dio Bernard's starting to do that. Eric Jones is starting to do that. They're going up the right side. So there's a lot of great young talent on that regular tour. And right now we're watching Brian Hoffman in his second ever stepladder match.
Coming through with a nice one there. After handling the bucket, there was another opportunity for if there was any funny nerves going on still with Brian. A bucket will test your mettle, but he came through with that and comes right back with a handsome strike there. The other thing about Mario is you can't read this guy.
No, I don't.
There's we always joke about the poker players, who's got the poker face, who doesn't have the poker face. This is a guy you don't want at your table. He's not going to let you know what his hole cards look like.
It's amazing to watch him because it really doesn't matter what the pattern is. I've seen him play out. I've seen him play in. And it's just pretty much all the same thing. It never looks like he's working at it. It's just, okay, that's my target, and this is what I do.
That's exactly
Yeah, he's
right.
getting the loft, but it's not like he's forcing it or trying to really muscle the ball.
It looks very natural.
We were talking about it last night sitting out at the tables about how many bowlers they come out, and they're not happy with themselves. They're always trying to do something different. You know, they're trying to either be somebody else or go, I got to try to do that. I got to do this. And there are very few bowlers, and I might be totally wrong about this, but are totally content with the way they throw it. They don't figure they have to try to do anything different than anybody else. You know, I don't have to try to be like you or whatever. And they do what they do perfectionally. You know,
Usually some of the better ones are like that.
Yeah, but there's so many guys out here that, I got to try to throw it like Mario. I got to try to do this. You know, that's what's working. That's what works for him.
Oh, and that's an attitude. Looking for the double doesn't get it that you can't teach, right? And, you know, we give our boothmate Thomas a hard time sometimes. He's like that. He's a perfectionist. Remember, Dave? I think you were with us. He bowled an event last year. He was hit by a couple hundred pins. Oh, nice ball. I should have been hit by 300.
Yeah,
you know,
he is
but that's
that
just
way.
his stuff. Like,
he's
you know,
driven.
Yeah.
That's his personality, and it works for him because he's constantly pushing himself to be better. I think Chris Barnes is the same way. He's constantly pushing himself to be better.
He knew it. He knew it.
He walked away. He didn't want to see the result of that, and he will now. But, yeah, there's some people, but I think Mario seems very content with what he does, and it's been proven out in the last year. It's a year ago that we had never heard of him, and all of a sudden we find this guy. Is this Arturo's brother?
There's a couple of guys that come to mind that were out here on the 50 tour that I respect. You know, Lenny Borsch, his style is, you know, a style that obviously that's his style.
Not repeatable.
Yeah.
No, it's not copyable. No.
Dale Traber, when Dale Traber was out here, his style, he just very content with how they do what they do.
Wow, that's his most powerful shot of his game and a half appearance here, and he desperately needed that with Mario going 3 for 3. Well, look at Parker. You know, Parker doesn't try to emulate anybody.
No,
of course,
Parker's
why
style is
should
still
he?
the same.
Yeah, it would be pretty senseless, but yeah, there are others, and he's content with his game. Yeah, he'll fuss with his game from time to time. He'll make changes in where he stands or equipment, but the basic is always going to be the same.
That was a little farther right.
A little bit.
And he got the reward. And it's virgin territory out there. I mean, nobody's using it.
Yeah, he set this whole thing up for himself, and this is one of those rare things. This is what happens sometimes when we have 4 righties and a lefty. We talk about this. Well, here we have 4 lefties and a righty, and you know, it's an advantage. Doesn't always work. Doesn't always, you know, if you don't take advantage of it. But at the moment, the proof is on your screens.
Mario's tempo, he's just so methodical. He is not in a hurry for anything.
No, he's not one of the faster guys out here.
Oh, no.
You know, we joke around about pace all the time, how some guys are super fast and other guys do their own thing and are slower. But he rarely breaks that rhythm. He's going to do the same thing just about every time.
Well, last week we had Amaletto shooting 300 on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And Mario's got a good start at it with the front 5.
Yep, Amaletto. See, you got me doing it now. Amaletto doing it in the first game we had of the PBA60 World Series, right?
Yeah.
On the web pattern, he drops a 300 on it.
I changed his name.
Yeah. He, by the way, Craig, don't get any funny ideas. Only Tom can do that.
I'm used to it.
Yeah, only Tom. Callahan found that out the hard way. You know how there was the Jordan rules? There's the Carter rules. Jason Couch awaits the winner in the championship game. And he has been ruthless today.
I think Brian's unfortunately kind of seeing the writing on the wall here.
Well, he's run into a guy who bowled better than Anthony Cruz did in Cruz's second game. Cruz won the first game, but did not win the second game. And just doesn't look like Mario's going to make a mistake, or at least not a major one.
Well, if Mario hadn't beat Troy Lint, we'd have had an all 5-man show, which would. It's been a while since that's happened.
It would have been. Yeah, that would have been guaranteed.
Yep.
Every lefty beat every righty in the opening round. Any lefty-righty matchup we had only. In fact, Mario beat Larry Verbal in a righty-righty matchup, which is a rare thing in that top 16 today. But right now, no, he looks untouchable.
It was a great movie.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
Just a little something to remember, guys. There's a bit of a bonus for 300 in a Stepladder final.
Yeah, unfortunately, this
$1,000.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I said it. Unfortunately, as I told Amaletto, I said, "Well, you got an extra 100," and then I was corrected. It's 1,000.
Yeah, it's 1,000.
But he didn't know it. I just went down and told him. He goes, "I get the 100 too."
Well, he uses $1,000 bills for bookmarks. So
yeah. However, I hate to break the news to Dell, but it's going to have to come out of Dell's pocket since the pattern was named after him. That's the.
Oh,
you're safe, Dell. That's what they call a tribute. But
as soon as you said that, Dell put the whammy on.
Of course. Dell's no fool. So Mario breaks the string of 6 in a row. That's dispatched with a little violence.
Yep. He kept it online.
Yes, he did. You know, Craig and I still think it's a Craig Elliott pet peeve, guys who curve at spares.
100%.
And Mario did not. Mario followed the Craig Elliott school of how to attack a spare. You could have drawn a line. I think he would have landed right on it.
Well, as hard as Troy Lint can throw it, it's always going to be straight. I'm sure that Craig beefs it up too to throw it straight.
A little bit, but I'll tell you what. As much as you know, and I like you give me a hard time. I'm good with that. But we're going to get Brad Angelo in here one of these days. He's going to show you the math, why you throw it straight.
Well, Brad
across lane. I know he does, but it drives me crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he's far from the only
but
one.
But you know, Tom, it's math, right? When you're shooting, especially not just straight, but like cross lane at corner pins, because the lane is so wide, the ball is so wide, the pin is so wide. You have so much room for mistake, and. Yeah, he goes a little more direct.
There's a lot of guys who curve it these days. A lot.
And it does depend on the pattern a little bit, too. There's no question about that. But the flatter, the tougher the pattern, the straighter the better.
I'll go along with that. The tougher the pattern, the straighter. I mean, if anybody's ever bowled the Peterson Classic.
Well, yeah. You don't even know what the pattern is. It's
right.
different every
You throw straight at everything.
Yeah. But U.S. Open, you're throwing straight.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, this pattern, it's going to hook. You can hook it, but you can also overhook it. And we saw Brian do that.
Not Brian Kane, for the record.
He throws straight.
Brian Hoffman. Yeah, Brian would throw straight.
I've never seen Brian Kane bowl.
He has. He's out there. I haven't either, but I've heard rumors. Not rumors. It's a fact.
We're going to get Dave and Craig out there and put that on BowlTV.
We want to gain subscribers, Tom, not lose them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm willing to go out there, but I'm willing, I'm always willing to embarrass myself, so. And you'll have plenty of time to drink your coffee while you're waiting for my ball to get down there. Things have slowed over the years. I was shocked when last time I went out what my miles per hour were. It's pretty bad. Stop looking.
Well, unfortunately for Ryan Hoffman, he got the win in this first game, but he's not going to get the win in the game.
But he had a great show. He had a great tournament, And there's more tournament to come. This is a long format.
Yeah, we have far
if you
more.
Told him he's going to make the show on the first event of the week, he'd say yes, please, and thank you. So he's off to a great start.
And all the pins that we get are accumulative to get to the World Series. So, these guys obviously on the show have a great start with the amount of pins they got, and it's just a matter of adding to them now.
Yeah, that's something else. What I'm going to do is while we're waiting for the next match to start, we'll go over just all the names in qualifying, where they are in the top 16, and then some of the top scorers, because obviously we have some names here that you are used to seeing on the PBA 50 Tour and Stepladder shows who aren't on it for various reasons, and we'll let you know how they're progressing, because we have 4 more titles to be decided here on BowlTV. And we mentioned this before, but on Sunday, David Small, proprietor of not just here at Jack 60, but 7 other centers now in the Midwest?
7 total now.
Yeah,
picked
7
up
now.
another one.
Just picked up
in Illinois.
Yeah, Strike and Spare, and now it's called Victory Lanes.
This is title number 99. It'll be handed out at his places, and 100 will be on Sunday for the Monticelli pattern. And that's PBA 50, PBA, the Kids Tour, PWBA, regional titles. The support of the sport, unprecedented.
Yeah, and he told us, we had Dave in the booth yesterday, and he mentioned that he's kind of got a goal of maybe getting to 10 centers. So
then we just do an entire tour of nothing but Dave Small centers. He can hand out the snacks at every one of them.
I asked him if he's going to have the seniors down there, because we used to bowl at Strike and Spare.
That's what he was saying, yeah.
And he said he's going to have the kids there first.
But they'll just trash the place.
Well, it is game, set, match.
Yeah, it's going to be
Brian
Mario
Hoffman.
Quintero and Jason Couch in the next match for the title. But for Brian Hoffman, 1-1 in his debut.
That's a good start.
Yes, it is a good start. And you know what? We'll give him, I'll try to remember when I see him later in the week, but we'll give him an early happy anniversary to he and his wife, Lisa.
Well, and he got Jersey of the Day today, too. So, I mean, that's a heck of an honor, isn't it?
That's a handsome shirt, I will say. Well done, Brian. Well done.
Tom, when you get some players, especially like a Hoffman that gets his first show, do you guys kind of regroup afterwards and just kind of go through some, hey, what'd you learn? What would you do, different type of things? Do you have those conversations?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Just, was there anything that you'd have done different? How did it feel? If you get, obviously you got a good start, and as long as you just maintain pace, you're going to make the world, and there's a chance for another show. What would you do different if we could do it again?
I'll tell you, the one thing that impressed me, though, is we saw him rushing early. He missed that spur. He got fast. And then later in that match, took the re-rack.
Yep.
Slowed down. So he recognized it, so that's a big plus.
Well, last year, Mario Quintero on this pattern here in this building finished 9th. And the man he's going to face in the final was on the show last year, Jason Couch, and he finished 4th. He beat Bo Gergen. Then the Mika fellow beat Couch. So Chris Barnes was the champion last year, knocking off Tony Oliva. And Chris was the top seed. Really brilliant bowling in the yesterday. Spectacular, but couldn't overcome Michael Harter.
There's a guy that's been working on his game, Mika.
Working on his game.
Yeah, he obviously the guy hits the pocket. It's just somehow he's got to increase his strike percentage. Hitting the pocket's one thing. You got to be able to strike when you get there.
Have you had the conversation with Miko? Is he getting frustrated and making so many consecutive shows last year without the win?
Yes, he is getting frustrated. He's been to Dave Bernhardt's place at Turbo at the training facility. He's been working on his game as far as ball motion, layouts, and it's, from my understanding, it's coming along rather well. It's just he's got to put it in play out here. Is huge.
Whatever, he took the one ball off the rack, and he's going to keep the one he just threw that right shot. So they're both black hammers, but obviously a little bit different.
Jason is starting.
That's his choice.
You sound surprised.
I'm always kind of surprised when a leader chooses to start. I've seen it work out, but normally you kind of like to put the pressure on the other guy.
Couch plus 282. High game yesterday was 279.
You know, I guess I'm thinking that just like we said earlier, Jason's from walking in the door, he means business this week. And look, give me the ball, I'm going. Let's get this thing over.
And through the face, a little problem there for him. Immediately.
That started up a little early.
Yeah, and I think he missed right too, and never got that out to where he wanted.
Jason's last title was last year, the PBA50 Hamtramck Singles Classic, which was played in April last year, but we played this month after we leave here. Everybody will stay in the state of Michigan.
Yeah, the fun one with that is he actually won that event during the PBA Tournament of Champions week. Of course, he's had some sex in that event a few times.
Yeah, since he kind of owns that one. He is Claremont man all the way. Went to Claremont High School in Florida and still lives there. 4 majors on the kids tour, 26 regional titles, has a PBA 50 regional title. Really just a knee surgery, a knee injury probably kept him from winning over 20 tour titles. You think about it, the way he was going.
Well, when you get hurt, you don't want to bowl. You do and you don't.
Yeah.
You know, it's a love-hate situation.
And there's that gutter flirtation and I guess a little steep on the entry angle there.
Well, I think to your point, Dave, a couple years back, right before Jason had that surgery, he had a couple of great tournaments. One of the villages, one in Aberdeen. Like, it was his to win, and it just, the knee kind of gave out on him. And I think that was his sign to say, look, I have to do something. Got to get it done.
Yeah. No one else has done what he has done at the Tournament of Champions with 3 straight events. Other guys have won it 3 times. I think Mike Durbin and Belmo have done it, but nobody did it in the style that he did it.
Oh, Mario got a handful of that one.
Ooh, almost too much handful.
Yeah, yep. I was worried at first, I'll tell you what. Just the one title for Mario, and it was here last year, and it was the big one, the World Championship.
You think he's feel a little pressure because he's bowling Jason?
No.
Okay.
I don't think Mario doesn't strike me as that kind of personality. I could be completely wrong. And I'm quite certain he knows who he's up against. But I don't know. He just doesn't come across that way.
No, I think Mario's mindset is just him against the pins.
Yeah.
And he could care less who's on the other lane.
Obviously, I'm sure he respects Jason.
Okay, how about this? As you're talking yourself up on the approach, is he talking to himself in Spanish or English?
Spanish.
Yeah, that's his native language.
Trust me, because he didn't speak a whole lot of English.
No, you go with what you're comfortable with. Craig, when you go to Italy, what are you going to speak?
English.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with Mario.
I'm going to speak whatever's on the menu.
There you go. You'll learn Italian real fast then.
Better shot.
He agreed.
That was a no doubt. Absolute no doubter.
He would agree. He still cranks it.
His backswing, and what's not as high as it used to be, it's not as steep. He used to have that check mark at the bottom of the swing, and he's tried to create a longer flat spot at the bottom because it was down into the lane. When he won the Tournament of Champions, if you go back and watch a video of that backswing was up and straight down.
Not a long time in between titles. He retired in 2012, right after being elected to the Hall of Fame, the PBA Hall of Fame, and then jumped into the PBA50 pool in 2020. But COVID happened, and we didn't have a season. Oh! They got that 8-pin with a little messenger action.
He's got his cheering section here. Mario's got,
and they share his sense of humor.
Yeah,
apparently
they do
too. But it is funny, look, Jason's one of the all-time chop busters out here, but hasn't been as much of it as to Craig's point earlier. So we'll see. And nope, got one to stand there. Now, we're just continuing with Jason. So the gap between titles. So he wins in 2011. His last Kids Tour title was the Mark Roth Plastic Ball Championship. And then, you know, he steps away from the game. He's trying to get healthy. You know, the knee is an issue. He comes back. He wins in 2021, and it's 3 more years before he wins again. Last year in Hamtramck, and this is on the 50 Tour.
He battled that knee for a while.
It really was a problem, and it still, from time to time, bites him back.
He says it gets sore. I mean,
It does.
take me from somebody that's got knee replacements. They get sore. You'll go through a period where it don't bother you at all, but then the next morning you go,
Well, his were just partial knee replacements too, so there's still some normal parts in there. Maybe that's what you get a little inflammation, and he's been battling that this week.
And when you talk about partial or full, I guess why would you have a partial done if you're already in there? Just fix the
Finish
whole
it
thing.
off. I don't know.
I'm not a doctor. I don't know.
I have
obviously.
no expertise in that, but he's talked to me about, you know, even sometimes driving. Maybe it's just sitting too long, not getting out. But when he goes places, he said, man, even on the drive here, he said it was bothering me on the drive. But not bothering him now.
That wasn't bad.
No.
He's starting to arc it a little bit more.
Well, here's your lesson on how to play the 36-foot Ballard pattern.
Well, 36 foot, you rule of 31's 5. So for most of us, it says that we really need, if you want to see it peel, get to 3-4 down lane. And it's coming flying back.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a good shot.
Yeah.
He was
Donnie
posing
Hogue.
before the ball was even out of his hand.
Donnie Hogue back here, one of Jason's good friends. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know, but
He's laughing so hard he's about ready to wet himself.
yeah, Donnie may have to go sit someplace else. This is a big building. Yeah, Jason, 3-bagger. Jason made another show earlier. He was the Villages, actually. He was in the first match, got defeated. It was home. This is pretty much a home game for Couch, that tournament.
He's bowled well in that building.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. And there's another lefty. Parker has done well in that building. Lenny was the king of the Villages.
Yeah,
as you
Parker,
pointed
Jason,
out.
Lenny, basically the 3 guys you can
yeah.
pencil in on the shows if they're healthy.
Lenny, the guy with the voodoo roll.
Hold.
No, boy.
Yeah, that was in and did not hold. Maybe a little
Craig,
quick,
that looked a little
quick with
slower
the
to you?
feet. I thought his feet got quick though, and then he tried to make that late minute adjustment, and yeah, I didn't do it.
Well, sometimes when your feet get too fast, you're so far ahead of the ball, you slow your swing down.
Right.
And it's kind of, it just looked like you got a little bit slow with the swing there.
Yeah, it looks. I can't tell if that's 15 or 16 miles an hour.
16.61.
Yeah, I thought it was 16.6 something. So I don't know if that's in line with what he has done. That's the first time I've looked, and that scoreboard's a little ways away from us here. Just take 2 here.
Of course. 2 is 4 with that 3-bagger up there.
That's exactly the lesson. So it's a good thing he did build a little goodwill with that 3-bagger. Quintero is going at that Dutch pace.
Well, last thing he wants is a Dutch 200 patch.
There's probably a couple hiding in the pro shop here somewhere.
Had yet to strike on lane 54 for Mario.
Championship match. And it's still.
That was in farther than that last shot. He kind of banked it off 3-4 last time. He was into like 5-6 there. It never really got right.
Couch is still going to have a lead even with that open frame.
Yeah. What's a Dutch 200 mean? Couldn't get lined up on the other lane.
Yeah. and that one, watch his shot on the left lane. He's just more confident, a little more aggressive. That one, he was like, I'm trying to make it do something. I'm not sure what, and that wasn't it.
All right, staying clean, but staying behind Jason Couch. So we'll see how Couch finishes the final 5.
Well, Mario made it a lot closer. I mean, he strikes here.
Oh, yeah.
He's within 5. I mean, that's striking distance.
Jason's max 255, Mario's max 250. Couch has had 2 splits. He hasn't had a normal spare to shoot at yet either.
No.
He had a 2.7 to start the match, which he converted, and then he had one that was obviously a lot lower percentage.
So both shots came in high. He made a mistake somewhere. But the ball
And on the same lane.
Yep.
Which he won't be finishing on.
Maybe that's why he wanted to start, so he doesn't have to finish on that lane.
And now Mario doesn't strike on that lane.
That was that could have been real ugly there, leaving a bucket.
Would have hurt him in the count, obviously. So he's not striking at the frequency that he did a little bit earlier. What has changed, guys?
I gotta think it's just pressure because I don't think it's as being right-handed, moving from pair to pair. Obviously, there's more righties in this tournament than lefties. And the shot didn't change that much in just the one match that he's bowled. So I have to think that there's a little bit of nerves going on right now.
Well, we saw him earlier overthrow a couple shots, right? Your feet get fast, you start pulling, and that affects your targeting. I mean, his good shots are really, really good.
Right.
But the other shots, they're
well, and we talk
noticeably off.
And we talked about his loft. That set down point out on the lane could be a little bit different too.
Jason's labeled both shots in this lane. Make it 3 for 3.
Wow.
Again, he was fist pumping before the ball was out of his hand.
Yeah,
he likes that lane. There's no doubt about it.
Watch him react right there.
Yeah, one arm swing. Yeah, got it.
Is he taking a re-rack?
That was 16.95.
Okay. Slightly faster than
yes, he
one.
is.
Yeah, he is going to re-rack on the lane that it's given him a little bit of a headache. He does have a strike on the 3rd frame, but I'm guessing something in warm-up maybe caught his eye that I don't want to finish on this if it's a close game.
He's definitely going to save his other re-rack, I would think, for 9th frame on that lane.
If he needs it,
If he needs it.
Yep, it's a good point. Oh, well, you have that kind of power, you get that kind of reaction.
Oh, he yelled, "Get up!" He wanted to make sure that hooked, and it just got enough.
And that was 16.75, so it's not the other was 16.95. So I mean, we're not talking a big difference, but there's obviously something on that lane, like he's throwing it uphill.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what we heard from Liz, right? She just couldn't get the ball up the hill, couldn't get the ball to make that turn. Even though there's drive boards out there, there's some free hook. You still got to have the right ball with the right surface to get it to make that move.
Exactly.
Jason.
And that's always a guessing game.
Quintero down by 16 in the max score.
He's farther right on that lane. He
got a huge break. He doesn't know it yet. When he turns around, you'll see that 10-pin is missing.
He missed way right on.
Oh,
I mean, that was 5 right where he's been throwing. You got it to the rise. It's going to hook, but can't control that.
He got it there early. That was a bad juju.
He is yet to double, and odds are getting a little tougher for Mario.
I think it could be a little bit nervous, but also got to be frustration. Look, hey, I struck
Sure.
the first couple times in the left lane. I just can't get 10 on the right, and then you make a mediocre shot on the left, and I was like, oh, crap. Now you're coming from behind because he had an opportunity with that open from Jason to take control and couldn't capitalize.
Nope.
So.
Didn't throw a strike.
Gives you much frustration as anything right here.
I haven't been able to ask him, but I'm curious, and I've always been curious watching him bowl, what the glove does for him on his hand.
And it's not a full-blown Weber golf glove.
No, it's not. It doesn't have a brace in it.
No.
It's kind of like a therapeutic glove or something.
Yeah,
Could
probably
be.
just to keep it warm, maybe. Comfort, better shot.
And a better result.
If you've seen that ball, you talk about hitting up on it. It was going in the air.
Yeah, much better projection.
Well, Couch can make things very uncomfortable for Mario here.
Yeah, if he gets a strike here on his good lane, then figures out that left lane, time's running out.
Well, Couch with a 28-pin advantage and maximum score. Championship match here on the Ballard.
Oh,
That was in.
Uh-oh.
Wasn't it?
In the pocket.
Yeah, that was in, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, that wasn't the same shot he threw the last three on that
No.
lane.
Same result.
Same
Yes,
result,
you
but
Yeah, you didn't see that one fist like you normally
no.
do.
No.
Oh,
But I'm results-oriented, guys. That's still a strike.
Yeah.
How did he read?
oh, that's
to
in by.
this?
That's 4 right.
Oh, look at him. He's into it.
I don't know.
I think
He sold it well.
Yes,
Yeah.
he did.
He sold it well.
That is, yes. He sold me. I'll say it to you that way. He definitely convinced me it was a great shot.
Well, I think this could be the key strike of the game if he strikes here in the ninth.
What's going to make life rough on Quintero if he does.
But that shot there, I think, kind of confirms why he's wanted to start, because he likes the right lane. There's no doubt about it.
Well,
He's seen something we don't see.
he has struck twice on this lane, but the other two, not so hot.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, through the nose.
Well, the last one he yelled for it to hook, so he was making sure this one got there. And
Yeah,
he did.
it's like he started that one up instead of going down the lane.
Notice he didn't say a word on that shot.
No.
He wasn't rooting for it, and he wasn't cursing at it either. So max score shrinks a little bit. This is never fun. This is the 247. I got to believe he's going to make this
He still can shoot 232, which is
Yeah, still up 5 with a spare.
with enough. That would do it. And he will finish on a friendly lane.
well. This isn't a friendly spare.
No.
It's kind of like the 3-6-10, except for the
For
247.
the other guys.
You got it?
Yes, he did.
Money.
And that's a sigh of relief right there.
Yeah, that's what he like. Thank God.
Yeah, a brief glance at the heavens for Jason Couch right there.
Well, he definitely can put some pressure. He strikes out. He forces Jason to double. He can throw the next 4.
This lane's been a little tricky for him, though, no? He's actually done okay on the lane he's going to finish on.
That's way out again.
Yeah, that was high all the way. Slow and right in the dirt.
Yes.
All the way to the dries.
57, 77, 07. This match is pretty much, well, don't say it.
Nope, don't say it yet.
Don't say it.
Don't say it yet.
It just feels like he just never really committed to a plan of attack. And it shows with, if we go back and look at all 10 shots this game, they were kind of, a little bit everything. Well, does this work? Maybe. How about this? Maybe. Yeah, let's try this. Must have it.
He's got,
He did not strike on this lane in this game. I'll make sure I'm right when I look at that scorecard.
Yeah,
again.
1, 3, 5, 7, 9.
9 spare, 9 spare, 9 spare, 8 spare, 8 split, but he spared it. But Jason took the offensive approach and decided, I'm not worried about Mario, I'm worried about Jason, and he's going to finish on his comfortable lane. But the max now sitting at 207 makes life a lot easier for Couch in that final frame.
Well,
Couch 8 out is 208.
And Mario's got to go out here just to put any pressure on Jason.
It's over.
Yeah. It is over. That's a 210. Makeable.
Yeah, but that's 95. That doesn't make a difference.
Couch is going to have to hit one batch of pins, and he will have a third PBA 50 title and a 19th national title. And 2 years in a row, he has won on this tour and, oddly enough, in the state of Michigan.
Well, like Craig said, Jason walked into this building with a different attitude, and it is like, I have a job to get done, and he did it.
Well, if I'd have noticed that before we started, I probably, to the point I would have picked him. That was a different demeanor he had from ball number 1. So it's going to bode well for the rest of his week. He is very confident, and he's making some good shots.
And he's in a good position with the amount of pins he knocked down in the first part of all of this. So, yeah, look for him to be a real factor for the rest of this week. And there you go, folks. Your winner is Jason Couch. PBA 50 title number 3. And 2 years in a row, he steps into the winner's circle, and we keep it going, boys.
Well, he did it in fashion, undefeated through this whole thing.
Yeah, 7-0.
7-0.
Guys, once again, another different winner on the PBA 50 Tour. We have not had a repeat winner yet this season.
I like it.
Give it time. Give it time. I'm surprised he just didn't pick up his plastic ball and just fire it down the middle.
Yeah, let's have a fantastic finish here. And that's exactly what it is. 7-0 today in his matches. Jason Couch is your champion.